Hello everyone, my name is Dandan. I'm a cute Chinese girl. I love to eat, I love to smile, and I want to wear a big hat. In the last episode, I said I wanted to be in charge of the education sector. After reading a lot of news about floods in the past couple of days, I think flood control is also very important. For example, the Great Dayu was a particularly famous official in ancient China. He was admired because of his achievement in controlling the Great Flood and founded the Shang dynasty, the first hereditary dynasty in Chinese history. Wait a second, this is an ambition I'm supposed to reveal. You guys have to believe that I'm not so ambitious. I just want to wear a big hat. Speaking of which, the great god of Dayu and Noah's Ark are the most representative flood myths in China and the West. But obviously, they are different. Why is Noah's Ark about the escape of individuals through the assistance of God? While in the Chinese myth, Dayu was directly bestowed with the power of the gods. Why is that when faced with the flood, Noah chose to sail to safety in his ark, but Dayu chose to dredge the river and confront the flood head-on? Why is it in Noah's Ark that only those who have committed lesser sins were saved, whereas everyone in the 9 provinces benefited from Dayu's control of the flood? The answer to these questions is here. To be honest with you, I have a degree in philosophy. So let's get a bit more serious today and talk about the differences between the Chinese and the Western flood myths from a philosophical perspective. In terms of worldview, Western culture is linear, emphasizing the coexistence and opposition of dualistic concepts. In Noah's Ark, the mortals and the gods are separate entities. God is the Lord of all and controls the survival of everything. This is theism. The flood in the Western myth is a punishment to the human race by God, implying humans are born with original sin, and so it is necessary to use divine power to rid the world of sinful humans. In the entire myth, God stands on the opposing side of mankind. However, Chinese worldview is secular. It focuses on the interdependence and integration of dualistic concepts. In the myth of the Great Flood, Dayu was bestowed with the divine power of the gods to control the flood. The myth demonstrates the dignity and strength of mankind. It talks about how humans overcame their selfish desires and how they persevered through difficulties for the benefit of society. In terms of cultural values, linearity in Western culture is expressed as the linear progress of single points. It emphasizes the exertion of personal potential, the pursuit of personal interest, and the realization of personal goals. For example, in Noah's Ark, Noah saved himself, but not the others in the world.
They are just people. There is room.
There is no room for them.
In contrast, Chinese culture expresses secularity where all the single points gather towards a center. It focuses on the realization of collective goals, the maintenance of collective interest, and the harmony of collective relations. For example, when Dayu controls the flood, it is not his river that he dredged, but instead a river that belongs to all. He is not defending his personal interest. He is instead defending the collective interest of the people.
大水不治，何以为家?
I don't feel that between the line and the circle, one has to be good and the other has to be bad. It's like finding a boyfriend. Whether you choose an introvert or an extrovert as your partner will depend on which person is more suitable to you. From a geographic and cultural perspective, ancient China's self-sufficient agricultural economy, long-term feudal closure, and semi-closed continental environment resulted in a lack of contact with the outside world. Because of this, people did not easily accept new things and instead they sought stability. Therefore, Dayu dredging the rivers to control the flood is to protect the people's homeland and maintain their original conditions. It is not to encourage people to leave their homeland and find a new place to live. It's like if your boyfriend isn't good enough, don't throw him away just yet. Stay with him and see if with some repairs, you'll get up to par. Since most Western countries have more open access to the ocean, sea navigation, industry and commerce were well developed. They are more outgoing, better at accepting new things, and have lots of international ideas and global consciousness. They can feel at home wherever they are. They love competitions and adventures. That's why in Noah's Ark, people are inspired to discard the old and welcome the new, to explore the unknown world and to find a new promised land. What was that? Your boyfriend isn't good enough? Then break up. Bye-bye. Your next boyfriend will be even better. Overall, mythology doesn't just appear out of thin air, and cultural justifications certainly underlie within its emergence. I believe that the Chinese flood myth is to let people see their personal greatness, while the Western myth is to make people aware of their individual insignificance. Chinese mythology promotes the concept of salvation through self-reliance, which is more like a compassionate teacher. Western mythology emphasizes the concept of salvation by divine power, which is more comparable to a strict judge. From the Great Flood in ancient times to the flood in 1998, and now the torrential rain in 2020, China's history is almost a chronicle of combating floods. I met a grassroots official in one of my rural investigations. He participated in the work to combat the flood in his town this year. In order to combat the flood, after 6 days of continuous heavy rainfall, he would wade in knee-deep water in the middle of night, knocking door to door to mobilize villagers who may be in potential danger to move to safe areas. He said that he has worked at grassroots level for nearly 10 years and experienced a variety of flood relief tasks. Flood relief is fragmented and tiring, with very few highlights. When the rainy season arrives in the summer, he often falls into constant insomnia and feels that his work is not worth mentioning in the face of torrential floods. However, I believe that since ancient times, the most critical part of China's flood relief has been the front lines combating the floods. When we are facing the floods, help from the gods are too far away. We can only rely on ourselves. And that is how China's 5,000 years of history and culture continue to live on. My name is Dang Dang. I'm a cute Chinese girl. I love to eat, I love to smile, and I want to wear a big hat. I'll see you in the next episode.
就中国人一开门，哎呀，我们的邻居红的、白的、黄的、黑的都有。在所有大国当中啊，中国的周边环境呢，应该讲是最差的。周边国家特别多，差异性特别大，规模大小不同，政治制度有差异，经济发展阶段有差异，文化有差异，甚至人种都有差异。大国云集，世界上有影响的大国都在这个地区发挥作用，挑战是非常多的。印巴、中印、南海、东海、朝鲜半岛被认为可能引发大规模战争的这种引爆点特别多，这就是我们面对的现实啊。我本人是研究大国外交的啊，特别是研究中美关系的。但是近年来，这个因为中美关系无处不在嘛，影响中国的周边环境，所以我对周边也有一些兴趣，也做了一些研究。 中国崛起呢是个事实啊，但是在中国崛起的进程当中，一定有很多障碍，就像唐僧取经要经过9981难。总之呢，我们希望这10讲呢，给大家提供一种框架，而这个框架呢是有战略视角的，有历史视角的。通过对中国周边安全挑战的分析呢，我希望就是不仅有助于大家理解这些热点，而且希望给大家带来一种国际视野，有一种 bird view。你把握了态势以后啊，我相信你对人生、对这个国家会更有信心。我是金灿荣，欢迎大家来到观课堂。